Good evening and welcome to the agenda combined meeting 5 p.m. January 11th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta.
Here.
Ms. Fabry.
Here.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Here.
Mr. Holmes.
Present.
Mr. Rivera.
Here.
Mr. Sobrana.
Present.
Mr. Silva.
Here.
Mrs. Cotta-Spati.
Present.
Ms. Spinelli.
Here. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent announcing time, place, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, S&J Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Visto Bueno, and the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, we will have our flag saluters from Sabbatare Elementary School. Please come forward. Thank you. Great job. Mr. Sobrana and Mr. Rivera will be coming down with some certificates for you, and we're going to also take a photo. Thank you again for coming out to our meeting tonight. Thank you. Scott, do I have a resolution for executive session?
We do. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the City of Vineland School District will convene in executive sessions for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10:4-12. Discussion includes any matter involving the proposed lease or acquisition of real property, any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiation, and any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent the confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott-Spati.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes, at this time, we are not going to go into executive session, and we will go into executive session at the end of the meeting. Mr. Yano, do we have any special presentations tonight?
Yes, we do. We have an acknowledgement of Cole, the deaf dog, for his service to our schools and community. I'm going to make my way down to the podium, and we'll need the screen to come down. So, board members, please adjust your seating. Thank you. Good evening. Tonight we are honoring some faces that are pretty famous around the good old city of Vineland. You may have seen them at school assemblies, volunteering their time at various city and district events, their awareness campaigns, or maybe doing their job at many schools, as we always have seen as we visited the building. Of course, I think many of you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cole, the deaf dog, and his owner, Manny's music teacher, Chris Hanna. Cole has become an icon in the community, promoting acceptance around the idea that a disability is not an inability. It's a superpower. Just in the last 6 months, Cole has been featured on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, named the CW Dog of the Year 2022, and become the first Deaf-Born American Human Hero Therapy Dog Award winner. Let's hear it for Cole and Mr. Hanna. We're going to watch a short video highlighting some of Cole's accomplishments, but I will invite you, Mr. Hanna, to please come up with our guest star so everyone can get a close-up. And I'm sure he's bringing his toy with him. Yeah, okay. So we're about to get started with our video. There you go. Maybe he'll have to come to every meeting.
Hi, my name is Chris Hanna, and this is Cole the Deaf Dog, my best friend and inspiration. And I am an elementary school music teacher at Dr. Manny's School in Vineland, New Jersey.
And we also want to introduce you to our new pet of the week. This is Cole, you guys, a hardworking rescue pup who's making a difference in his community with his amazing superpower. Take a look.
He was born deaf, but what is so special about Cole is that it's not a disability to him.
As a certified therapy dog, Cole is an inspirational force in his community for veterans and hospice patients alike.
Hi everybody, it's Chris and Cole here. We are in the Cole-mobile and we are ready to go pay some visits in a kind of a special way. We're going to be driving around all the neighborhoods for my students. A lot of these kids really count on Cole and they count on his inspiration and his spirit at times like this. So we want to be able to drive by, give them a wave, and give them a chance to see Cole. A lot of them have been decorating their driveways. They have posters hanging in their front doors to let us know that they miss us. So we look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys.
They look at coal as a symbol of hope. They look at coal as a symbol of perseverance and never giving up and facing adversities. One of our biggest missions is to teach acceptance on so many different levels for not just for kids, but for adults to understand and to inspire others to just to love and to just continue being awesome.
Mr. Hanna, thank you so much for bringing this wonderful dog into our school district and just impacting so many lives throughout the city. Great work. Ms. Kataspati has a certificate for you. And we have a little special gift bag for Cole. Is it really? Oh, there he goes. That's wonderful. Oh, we'd like to take a picture. Oh, check this out. Thank you. Let's get a picture. I'm sure our board members come up and take a picture. Nick can put it in his office.
Okay, moving on. The HIB report. Any questions or comments regarding the HIB? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrano,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Kataspati,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes. Approval of minutes, December 7th, 2022 combined meeting, December 7th, 2022 executive session. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrano,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Kataspati,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Committee reports. Do I have any committee reports this evening, starting with Mr. Fiocchi?
Good evening. Finance Committee met Monday, January 9th at 8 a.m. via Google Meet. In attendance was Mr. Mustarella, Mr. Rivera, Mr. Yano, Ms. Spinelli, and myself. Following topics were discussed: UAW and non-certificated supervisor negotiations, fiscal year 24 budget. The SDA has awarded Vineland another grant that are going to be used for cameras. State of New Jersey has awarded Vineland a third round of supply chain assistance. Shared service agreement with the City of Vineland for road salt. Discussed outsource bus routes that are going to be brought in-house. The ongoing NJSDA audit and demographic study, which is scheduled to begin. Thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes, the Transportation Committee met on Tuesday, January 10th via Google Meet. Present were Mr. Mustarell, Mr. Yano, Mr. Sabrana, Ms. Fabry, Mr. Rivera, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Hall, Ms. Blakely, and Ms. Camara. We recapped the drivers. We have 140 drivers budgeted, 136 route packages, that means drivers needed, 136 filled positions, 10 subs, 3 drivers in training, 4 waiting for their driver's test, 1 driver passed away, and 3 drivers resigned. We went over driver attendance. Average absences in the morning is 18.7 for December. Average absences in the afternoon is 21 for December. Stop Finder trial continues. Student Finder cards have been sent. We expect delivery at the end of January. These cards will be utilized as the cafeteria ID as well. Wayfinder tablet swipe card technology hardware has been shipped. Once all hardware is received, we will schedule the install. Walker Transportation request form is on the website. Updated situation response form. Bus 32 accident update. Zoner speed alerts. We are researching the possibilities of speed alerts. We are planning to take back 2 outsourced routes. We are currently paying $200,000 in order to save money. Courtesy busing was discussed, and bell times was discussed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Any other committee reports this evening? Public meeting report by Board Solicitor.
None for public.
Public comment on agenda items. Please limit yourself to 3 minutes. State your name. We have the timer. Where's the timer? Oh, it's up there. We have the timer, so please watch your time.
Ryan Pollock, VHS Class Treasurer.
Good evening. Buenas noches a todos. Bienvenido. Feliz Año Nuevo. I think I speak for all my class officers when I say Happy New Year. We had a great year at VHS. We have our Mr. Vineland competition coming up at the end of this month, as well as actually it's tomorrow, my mistake. And our NHS induction ceremony is at the end of the month. We're already planning our end of the year activities, graduation, all of our dances, and we'll keep you posted on any further update. Thank you.
Makima Douglas, Parent Choice.
Good evening, all. My name is Makima Douglas, and I am here just to share a little bit about my opinion for Parent Choice. As a Vineland resident, as a former Vineland parent, and also as a former Vineland preschool teacher. I have a personal story. When my youngest son was leaving preschool at All Kids First and going to elementary school, I had been teaching at All Kids First for a good while and outstanding citizen, and I made a request to have my son moved next door to Winslow. Because if he was moved to the school that he was supposed to be sent to, which was Delago at the time and it had just opened, it would have been a hardship to my family. It was across town. It would be convenient if he was next door. He wouldn't have to go to before and after school care because I would be able to pick him up. And my sons were already walking to Memorial School. And that was a fear and concern for me. So I didn't want to have those kind of fears and concerns for my youngest child. So I wrote the superintendent. I had my director write a letter in advocacy of me trying to get my son just right next door, the youngest one. And I made phone calls. I tried to go under the babysitting rule that they had at the time. And all of that was declined. So I had to take extreme measures in order to send my son to the school of choice that would make things easier for my family to make accommodations. So I literally had to ask my husband to sign off so that my mother could sign and had joint custody of my youngest son so that he could go to DePalato School and I wouldn't have to worry about before and after school care. I didn't have to worry about my younger sons that were in middle school having to babysit him. It took a lot the weight off of my family, because my mom was able to, and thankfully my mom was able to provide the assistance that my family had. But had I gotten that approval, had I been able to use school choice, I would have been able to have him request that he went to Winslow, which was next door, because it wasn't a matter of resources. It just was a simple no. So I believe it is important in certain cases. If it's feasible, it should be taken in consideration, and it should be based on circumstances, and there should always be an opportunity for parents to have a choice in the school. Thank you.
Tom McCann. Dr. Tom McCann.
Good evening, Vineland Board of Education. It's an honor this evening to stand here on behalf of the Vineland High School Historical Committee to ask the Vineland Board of Education to open up the nominations to name schools after worthy candidates. 28 years ago, I stood in front of the Vineland Board of Education as principal of this building, along with the members of the Land Historical Committee, asking the Board of Education to name this school after Miss Mary Rossi, former principal, assistant principal, dean, and mathematics teacher from this building. This was endorsed by 4 principals: Mr. Giuliani, who worked here, Mr. Brown, Mr. Barry, and myself, all advocating for this building to be named after Mary Rossi. The Vineland Board of Education was all about it. They loved the idea and everything that went with it. But what got in their way, and it was a very good thing that got in their way, that this was named after Charles K. Landis, the founder of the city of Vineland. And they felt very uncomfortable doing anything but having that, which made all the sense in the world to us. But they said, when the next opportunity comes up, we'll put that out there for consideration and take it upon the nature of the process, the nomination process. So what happened there, since then, there's been 5 school openings in Vineland, 5 new schools, none involving Miss Mary Rossi. So 28 years ago, there been a lot of opportunity for something to happen for Miss Mary Rossi. We need to honor her in a big way. There's a research team, members of the Historical Committee are here. There's a research team that investigated all the principals from Vineland High School, and Miss Mary Rossi was the greatest of all. Thank you. Have a good night.
Nicole Castellari, preschool choice.
Hi there, I'm Nicole Castellari. I have 3 children in the district. I have a daughter in kindergarten at Winslow. I have another daughter in the pre-K3 program at All Kids First. I have a son that's 1, and he's also, he will be attending Vineland schools in the future. I'm here to talk about school choice and why it's important to me. So I have several concerns about eliminating choice schooling. Not being able to send my child to the closest school to me, having to pay more for wrap care since the various preschools charge different amounts for wrap care, which I need to utilize as a working parent. But my biggest concern affects not only me, but a good portion of families in this district. My family, like many families in Vineland, is made up of 2 parents who work full-time. I think it's safe to say that most families in Vineland have households where parents, guardians, whomever, work. Because of having to work, these families, including my own, have had to put their children in childcare at a very young age, in my case, 4 months old. So as you're aware, there are several public preschools in Vineland that offer private childcare, whether it be in the same building or in a separate building. These centers take babies starting at weeks old. Now, when my husband and I went about choosing a center to send our child over 6 years ago, we first looked at a center that was geographically closest to our home, And secondly, we wanted a center where our future children could grow with in preschool and be there until it was time to transition to kindergarten. Families like ours have our very young children in care for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, with the expectation that these centers become our kids' home away from home, and they can continue to grow and learn and be nurtured in preschool until it is time to leave and go to kindergarten. If you eliminate this choice, you're essentially taking very young children out of an environment where they feel safe, loved, and familiar with. In my particular case, my son would have to go to a school that his sisters do not attend. Vineland Preschool uses high-scope curriculum, and if you look on high-scope's website, it details what they stand for. One of the 5 ingredients that high-scope uses in their active learning is choice. From their website, children choose materials and play partners, change and build on their play ideas, and plan activities according to their interests and needs. I hope the board takes into consideration the parents of Vineland and allows them the choice of where to send their children according to each individual's family's interests and needs. Thank you.
Whitney Cheney.
Hello, everyone. My name is Whitney Cheney. I have 2 daughters, ages 5 and 2, both of which, one of which is currently enrolled in the Vineland Public School System. I'm here to talk about the elimination of preschool choice. I actually am a product of the Vineland Public School System. I'm a huge advocate of it. I actually attended this very school with Dr. McCann, was my principal back then. So currently my 5-year-old attends All Kids First. She'll then be going to Rossi for kindergarten. We had every intention of rolling my 2-year-old, who will soon be 3, in the 2023-24 school year at All Kids First. When I found out that she would have to go to, I wouldn't be able to choose the school anymore and she'd have to go to Tiny Tots, I wasn't immediately concerned. I do not think the quality of her education is going to suffer by any means. I think Vineland is full of amazing educators. However, I did start to look into what this would mean for our family logistically, because my husband works crazy long hours. We are a 2-parent working household, so we do rely heavily on the Wrap Care program. When I looked into this for Tiny Tots, I learned that the cost increased by about $250 a month on average. And their Wrap program ends at 4:30, unlike All Kids First, which ends at 5. 4:30 is when my workday ends. So this is incredibly inconvenient, almost impossible for me. We don't have grandparents that live in the area. We don't have family that lives around that can help us. So I do rely heavily on my friends as my village. They've been able to bail me out when I've gotten stuck at work because of the convenient location of the preschool I chose for my daughter. There's also only a 10-minute lapse in the start and end times for preschool and kindergarten. So while I do rely on Wrap Care, for the parents who don't, I can't imagine they'll be able to wait in the drop-off and pickup line and make it across town to the other schools. So that's pretty much how it is inconveniencing my family, and it's going to force us to make some difficult choices. And pretty much from birth, we are making choices for our kids, for our babies. We inevitably, through them growing, lose that control. They go out in the world and make their own choices. But for now, it means a lot to me to be able to choose the preschool that they go to. I stay up late, I'm sure like most parents, questioning every single choice I make. The school I chose has not been one of those choices because it works for my family. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you.
Christina Varela.
Hi, my name is Christina Varela. I'm here to talk about Parents' Choice. I currently have a 2-year-old enrolled in All Kids First. I feel like removing a parent's power to select the school program that best serves their child's individual needs is not conducive to the child's learning. My child currently, like I said, attends All Kids First daycare, and my plan was to transition him directly into their preschool. Not having this choice not only affects him, but our family as well. Like others have mentioned, it affects the wraparound cost, the time we are a two-parent working household, and also just transitioning your child from one place to another is hard enough on them. My son, he knows the teachers, he knows all the staff there. They know his learning abilities and what needs to be done with him. My 2 oldest, I have one in high school, I also have one in elementary school, and then in September I have one in preschool as well. My 2 oldest, I've always been able to choose where they went to school. I live on one side of Vineland, and I choose to drive to another side of Vineland just to take them to school, and that's my choice. So my ask is not to take that choice away.
Alan Townsend?
My name is Alan Townsend, and I have me and my wife actually have 2 daughters that are in the schools in Vineland. I'm here to talk about just the importance of keeping the pre-K school of choice. So for us, the school that they were supposed to go to, my oldest daughter is 4 years old, and my youngest is 1.5 years. The school they were supposed to go to is much further away for us, and trying to correlate pickup times and drop-off times for 2 daughters at 2 different schools has been very difficult. Also for us, the problem we've had is shorter PM wrap-up time. Again, for us, most people work till 5. My wife works till 5. I work later. But it's been very difficult just we need the later wrap-up time just to be able to get our kids where they need to be. We also want to continue the care of since our infant. Our pre-K and our daughter, the pre-K our daughter is currently enrolled in at the same school. She attended a daycare. It is important for us and our children to continue the relationship that they have built since they have been infants. Part of the reason why we choose our daycare was because of the option that our children can continue in the same organization until they start kindergarten. Both my niece and nephew have also been through the same daycare. So I know all them, they know all us, they care about us, we care about them. They really take a real interest in our children. Also in equity, if the school of choice is available for students K-12 in order for them to access the best education fit for themselves and their families, this should be available to those students and families in the pre-K program as well. If choice and quality matter in K-12, then it should also matter for pre-K too. And it is unfair to remove this option for children and families. Busing, we're going to transport our kids to school, so busing was never a problem. Also, the district should have notified all the current and waitlist choice families of the potential change and end of this meeting. There should have been better communication. And in closing, to have my youngest daughter have to go to a new school when she's already been through the system in the school that knows her and knows of our older daughter, I think that would just be an injustice to us. Thank you.
Leonardo Luciano.
Hello, everybody. To start, thank you for saying my last name right. So I don't have a lot to say. I don't have anything written down. I just came here in case I wanted to speak, which I do. But so, like what Dr. McCann said about renaming the high school after Mary Rossi, like you said, why not name this building after her? It's already named after Charles K. Landis. Okay, that's fine. But no, to be honest with you, there is nothing named after Mary Rossi. So I feel like it'd be an honor on her legacy and the contribution and how she contributed to Vineland. So that's really all I have to say. I don't have a lot. I didn't have anything planned, so thank you.
Ms. Spinelli, point of order and clarification. Item 9 on our agenda is public comment, and public comment is both on agenda items and on any matter. Everyone who spoke tonight had the right to come up to speak, but just for clarification, there is nothing on this agenda relating to school choice.
Thank you, Mr. Santo. All right, moving along, motions and resolutions. Superintendent recommendations for discussion and approval by the board. Number 1 is the consent agenda. Do I have any questions or comments? Seeing none. Mr. Yano.
Yeah, so I'm requesting discussion and approval of personnel items listed under 1.1, which would include retirements, resignations, terminations, students, substitutes, extracurricular activities, and volunteers.
Questions or comments? Seeing none. John.
Just a comment, 11 employees retiring, combined service of 206 years. Thank you very much to all of them. They're leaving some difficult shoes for us to fill. That's why it's important that we do our very best to hire the best people we have. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera? Yes. Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Requesting discussion and approval of procedures and operations 2.1 through 2.3. 2.1, approval of trips and district travel. 2.2, approval of the second reading of the following policy, Policy 5307, Nursing Services Plan Revised. 2.3, approval of a dual credit agreement with Camden County College for the 22-23 school year, no cost to the district.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti? Ms. Spinelli? Motion carries.
Requesting discussion and approval of finance items 4.1 through 4.9. 4.1, approval of budgetary transfers for general school-based and ECPA for November 2022. 4.2, approval of the board secretary and treasurer reports for November 2022. 4.3, approval to submit grant applications on file with the board secretary for A and B as noted on our agenda. 4.4, approval to accept the following funding from Young Audiences Grant to work with a professional artist at Vineland High School. 4.5, approval for submission and acceptance of funding for the Project Lead the Way grant as follows, and as noted on our agenda for Johnstone, Pilla Memorial, and Wallace Middle Schools. 4.6, approval of the Stop It School Violence Grant MOU between the Vineland Board of Education and Camden County Educational Services Commission. 4.7, approval of the appointment of Scott Mustarell as the Fund Commissioner and Kara Irvine as the alternate Fund Commissioner of the Southern Coastal Regional Employee Benefits Fund. 4.8, approval of professional development on February 10th, 2023 for an in-district workshop with Foundations of Educational Administration at a cost of $1,600. 4.9, approval of the renewal of boiler insurance with Hartford Stream through Hardenberg Insurance effective January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 in the amount of $16,945.07.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Codispoti?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Requesting discussion and approval regarding finance items 4.10 to 4.18. 4.10, approval of a shared service agreement for the City of Vineland Board of Education to purchase rock salt from the City of Vineland in a form acceptable by the superintendent and the board solicitor. 4.11, approval of a 5-year lease to the City of Vineland of the recreational fields and related improvements and facilities at Veterans Memorial Middle School. 4.12, approval of a shared service agreement that the Vineland Board of Education will provide instruction and training to the City of Vineland employees to prepare city employees to take the New Jersey CDL examination. 4.13, approval of an addendum to the ESS Northeast LLC staffing contract covering July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Effective January 1st, 2023, these positions and rates are revised in Exhibit A due to New Jersey minimum wage increase, as noted on our agenda. 4.14, approval of the submission of the corrective action plan for the New Jersey Department of Agriculture Division of Food and Nutrition Summer Food Services Program for fiscal year 22. 4.15, approval of awarding the following contract for Winslow School HVAC System, Phase 2. Winslow School HVAC System, contractor Falaska Mechanical, total contract amount $1,823,600. 4.16, approval of the NASPO Co-op Value Point State of New Jersey Cisco Master Agreement for a 3-year term from November 1st, 2022 through October 31st, 2025, as noted on our agenda for Year 1, Year 2, and Year 3. 4.17, approval of the tuition contracts between the Vineland Board of Education and Cumberland County Tech Center for the 22-23 school year in a contract form acceptable to the superintendent and the board solicitor, as noted on our agenda, with full-time vocational students 509 and Strive 2 students. 4.18, approval of the McKinney-Vento tuition contract between the Vineland Board of Education as the receiving district and Gloucester City Public Schools of Gloucester County as the send-in for one student in the amount of $13,437.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes, and I hope we don't need the rock salt.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Regular agenda items, there are none.
Thank you. The board has received a request to name the Vineland High School South Building in honor of an individual. That request by the public triggers Board Policy 7250. And the procedure under 7250 is the board has a motion to consider whether or not to invoke the policy and start the process whereby other nominations are considered and ultimately a decision made. So it is my recommendation, Mrs. Spinelli, that the chair entertain a motion to invoke policy 7250 to name Vineland High School South Building in honor of an individual meeting the qualifications of the policy. You can ask for a motion in a second. Ask for a motion in a second.
Do I have a motion? Seeing none.
Ms. Spinelli, since the request is deemed denied for failure of a motion.
All right, moving on to number 11, approval of bills that occurred in November 2022. Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Emergent items with prior approval? None. Any old business this evening? None. Any new business this evening? None. Moving on to board member remarks, starting...
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
May I have a point of order? Okay. A couple of meetings back, I explained the process whereby the board entertains public comment. And our policy and procedure is the board not engage the public and make question or answer questions or make comments regarding the comments made by the public. What I neglected to say that night is that it's not only when the folks are at the podium making their comments, but it's when you have your public comment at the end. So you should not address any public comments that were made during the public comment session of the meeting. The matters are referred to the superintendent, who then responds to the public questions at that time.
Thank you, Mr. DeSanto. Moving on to Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the kids from Saboteur School that led us in the flag salute. I'd like to thank Cole. It's good to see things like this be put the spotlight on. There's so many times we like to focus on the negative, we like to focus on the things that are going wrong in our school district, but there's so many good things going on in our school district that we should highlight. And I think there's more good things going on by far, more good things going on in our school district, and more positive things that are going on than negative things. I'd just like to wish everyone a successful rest of the school year. Tomorrow, Mr. Vineland was mentioned, and I asked everyone to go and support. It is a fundraiser for the class of 2023, and they could use your support. And I plan to attend because I was graciously asked to be a judge. So I'm looking forward to that, as well as Ms. Codispoti. And we're looking forward to that, and just wish you the great rest of the year, and only looking for the best things to come. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Mr. Sobrana.
Thank you. Also, thank you to our flag saluters tonight, and thank you to Cole and Mr. Hanna for all they've done for the students, for the school, and for our community. It's a wonderful thing, and can't thank you enough.
Mr. Silva.
Yes, thank you to the flag saluters, Mr. Hanna and Cole. Thank you for the work you're doing in our district, in our community, teaching acceptance. It's great to see that, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fiocchi.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I wanted to congratulate Cole and Mr. Hanna on your recognition. Hope that you continue to do great work in our district and everywhere you may go. I also want to recognize and congratulate Mr. Du Bois, a phenomenal principal at Saboteur School who has decided to return to the curriculum department as our math supervisor. I can't wait to have a dedicated math supervisor back in that seat, and I look forward to seeing what he will accomplish. Lastly, I was going to address the preschool school choice, but Mr. DeSanto shot that down. So I will defer to the superintendent and ask for more information regarding this at a later time. Thank you.
Ms. Acosta.
Just echoing my fellow board members, thank you to the Saboteur Safety Patrol for their flag salute, and Mr. Hanna and our dear Cole. It's really amazing to see how very happy Cole can make our students, our community, and us. We're very proud of him. We're proud of you for the work that you do, and just seeing him here today really just brightens up my evening. So thank you so much, and God bless you both.
Ms. Fabry.
Happy New Year.
I had the honor today to host about 50 Vineland High School students from the construction trades and the AutoCAD classes taught by Mr. Medio and Mr. Giambre at Northeast Precast. The students were elated and happy to be there. Each and every one of them, I spoke to them all, and they're loving their class. So excellent work, board, for getting that up and running. Thank you to everyone who came out to speak tonight. Keep coming. As we always say, we need to hear your voices. And that's it. Good evening.
Thank you. Superintendent Mastriano. Oh, sorry. Ms. Cottasfati.
Thank you to everyone who came out tonight to speak. Please know that we do listen and we do try to follow up with all of your concerns. I am going to concur with Mr. Holmes tonight about the preschool, and I'm going to defer to our superintendent. Maybe we can have a discussion amongst ourselves. Thank you to our students from Sabatier who came out to do our flag salute. It's always great to have our students here. To all of our retirees, 206, congratulations, best of luck in whatever you do in the future. It must say something for our district. The dedication that you all have for our district, being here a combined total of 206 years, says a lot. Mr. Hanna, the work you do with Cole, not only with our own students, but the community through hospice, to the Veterans Home, and so many other things. It isn't surprising that Cole was voted nationally the best hero therapy dog in the country. Thank you both, and Cole's mom, for all you do for so many people and being such great ambassadors for not only the Vineland Public School District, but for the city of Vineland and our state of New Jersey. Good luck to the contestants in Mr. Vineland tomorrow night. I'm so excited about this. So please, as Mr. Rivera said, come on out. I think it's Vineland High South, 7 p.m. It's always a fun night. I so enjoyed this competition, and the kids just go out there and they do their best, and they have such a good time. And they've really been working hard at it. So if you don't have anything to do, come on out. To having a successful school year, I believe our district is just thriving, and I believe that we can just keep moving forward. So I'm just going to say have a good night to everybody. Thank you all for coming out, and God bless.
Thank you. Mastriano.
Okay. Thank you for coming out this evening. Also, big thank you. You know, it must be tough, Mr. Hanna, having Cole around you all the time, because everyone wants to look at and play with Cole, and maybe you get, neglected at times. But I'm glad that today we got to meet Cole's mom as well. That's cool. And, we look forward to, I know you're training additional dogs, I believe, and maybe we'll see their debut. Maybe we can debut them here at one of our board meetings. It'd be very exciting for us, because we love to see, our animals, our therapy dogs, our partners, that the kids really enjoy. And whenever they get that chance to interact with Cole, it's just such a cool thing to see. And I know Ms. Cottasfati has been raving about all the work that you're doing, and wanted us to make sure that we recognize the efforts that you've made, in our community, and also statewide and even nationally. So thank you again. I also want to say a quick congratulations to Lauren DeBello. She's our current math supervisor who's leaving to another district. She's received a promotion. We are going to miss the work that she has launched. She's done a great job getting us ready to get into our new math program, and but she's left us in a good place. Excellent plan for adoption and implementation and professional development. Mr. Du Bois, who will be picking that up and working with Mr. Fry to get this process moving forward. So we know we have a competent leader coming in to work with us, and it's very exciting. So thank you, Mr. Du Bois, for joining the team. He's always on the job. He couldn't be here at this moment because he had to take a student home who was here for the flag salute. So that's the type of professional we are going to be working with here, essentially. But we know his quality from the work that he did at Sabatier. And again, congratulations and good luck to Mr. Bello. I want to point out that recently I was able to conduct multiple data meetings at schools, worked with school leaders and their teacher teams to look at data, understand what it says, and what actions we're going to take to improve instruction. So those were very well designed by our administrative team, and the participation from our teachers was excellent. Today I started a day in the life of. I was at Barcy School for 2 hours, wasn't there to talk to the principal, I wasn't there to have a conversation with the teachers. It was all about the kids. I got to sit there next to a few students and watch what they're doing. How is their time being spent? How are they engaged in instruction? Today was day one. I'm going to get to all the schools, and it's always fun to see, you know, what does school look like from the child's perspective. Very, very exciting. In terms of some of the questions that came about school choice, I assure you we will come back to present and discuss some of the questions that came up. There seems to be some misunderstanding about what the plan looks to be. This was board approved in August. There was a meeting held over the summer. Information was provided, but we're going to get into that deeper at a later time. And I also wanted to point to you, if you have any questions, you can look at the registration website of the school district, where there are forms there that parents can complete if they're requesting special accommodations. And that's it for me.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go into executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? So moved. All in favor?